After 3 years of fighting COVID-19 successfully, China started to open to the world again and will exchange cultural information with the world again, not online this time, but physical events. So this is very important for CCC ever since the COVID-19. And CCC has already opened to the public this year, and we have some physical programs with the local public, and including this exhibition of tea, harmony, Yaji, Salon. The reason why we have this is that tea is a very important international drink worldwide, but it's the most important drink in China. It is originated from China, and it has been a very popular drink among all Chinese, whatever your age. And this important tea is like a kind of a cultural ceremony for all Chinese people in daily life. So we like to share this story, China's tea story, with the rest of the world, especially with our Mauritian friends.
CCC has resumed its activities in various forms, including tonight's Tea for Harmony Yaji Salon. This event is held to celebrate that the Chinese traditional tea processing techniques and associated social practice have been added to the UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage in 2022. Tea is not only a kind of traditional beverage in China, but a very important part of the Chinese people's life. For instance, making friends and share views while drinking tea at the tea house. So you can find tea rooms and tea houses when you travel in China in various cities and towns. In this case, in this background, there are Chinese poems, calligraphy, local cultural activities, and local snacks to go along with the Chinese tea. Tea is an important kind of gifts in various packages in China too. CCC's partner this time are Major People's Municipal Government and the Maurice Tea Investment Corporation Limited. With the participation of Meizhou City, you can taste a tea from Meizhou, Guangdong Province, in the collaboration with the tea masters from Maurice Tea Corporation Limited.
Pays natal du thé, la Chine avait généralisé la consommation du thé sous la dynastie des Tang au 7e siècle. À l'époque déjà, pour la population, l'importance du thé était équivalente au riz et au sel. Le thé constitue non seulement un élément indispensable pour la vie quotidienne de la population, mais aussi un vaisseau de transmission de la culture chinoise de génération en génération. De plus, grâce à la route de la soie, la culture du thé avait été transmise partout dans le monde pour devenir un patrimoine commun de la civilisation mondiale. Le 29 novembre dernier, l'UNESCO a inscrit dans sa liste du patrimoine culturel immatériel de l'humanité les techniques traditionnelles de transformation du thé et les pratiques sociales associées en Chine. C'est dans ce contexte que, aujourd'hui, le Centre culturel chinois, en collaboration avec la ville de Meizhou en Chine, a bien pris soin d'organiser cet événement extrêmement intéressant. L'objectif est de partager le plaisir du thé avec nos amis mauriciens et surtout, à travers l'histoire millénaire du thé chinois, de partager l'idée d'harmonie dans la diversification, une idée de la culture traditionnelle chinoise véhiculée par le thé. Nous célébrons cette année le 35e anniversaire du Centre culturel chinois. Premier centre culturel chinois dans le monde d'il y a 35 ans, son installation a été une illustration par excellence à la fois de l'importance accordée par la Chine aux relations culturelles avec Maurice et aussi de la qualité du partenariat traditionnel entre nos deux pays. Depuis ces 3 décennies, le Centre culturel chinois a bien joué son rôle dans la promotion de la culture chinoise tellement appréciée par le peuple mauricien à travers la langue, la calligraphie, la peinture, le taiji et les arts martiaux. L'idée de l'harmonie et du respect dans la diversité, une conception bien partagée par la Chine et Maurice. La culture du thé, que ce soit ici à Maurice ou là-bas en Chine et partout dans le monde, témoigne en effet de la communauté de nos valeurs traditionnelles. Nous sommes prêts à travailler ensemble pour valoriser encore plus nos traditions ancestrales dans un monde moderne qui évolue vite.
May 21st is the International Tea Day, and we want to celebrate with the rest of the world about the International Tea Day. Last year, that's in November 2022, the Chinese tea processing techniques and its associated social practice have been added to the list of UNESCO for the intangible cultural heritage. This is a very important historical moment for the Chinese tea and its culture. Tea in China has 1,000 years of history. It has many variety of tea. The tea plantations are located in China in different provinces, mainly around 17 provinces of China, either in the east or west or in the north or south. But the main geographical location will be around the 17 to 34 north latitude and 94 to 122 east longitude. These provinces have been produced tea ever since the ancient times in China. So they make different variety of tea, and it gradually developed the Chinese tea culture. So in our exhibition for the tea Yaji Salon, is a collection of tea making, tea appreciating, and Chinese painting, and Chinese traditional music play, as well as the audio and the picture display. It will become a collection to tell the Mauritian public the story of the Chinese tea history and its tea-related activities. For Chinese, most of the people, when they have tea, they will either at home or at tea house. A tea house is a public place. It will offer the Chinese consumers a lot of cultural experience, like the local opera, or local snacks, or local paintings. And at ancient times, Chinese scholars always like drink tea while they making Chinese poems, while they're making Chinese paintings, Chinese calligraphy, and so on. So all these culture has been developed and has been carried on until the current days. So most of the Chinese people will keep this traditional culture of tea culture until now. And then when you go ever to have tea, they like to find a very quiet, very green area either in the mountain area or in the forest area. They enjoy the surrounding, not only just the flavor of the tea. So that they like to have like a tea and related cultural experience. In the history of Chinese tea production, they also developed the Chinese teapot and its accessories. These are very important part of the tea tasting and ceremony. So during the presentation of tea making in our event, you will see different shape of small teacups and teapot. And there will be a tea specialist to present the guests with the knowledge of tea. So that's why we make a very collective event, not only presenting the tea, the Chinese tea from Meizhou, but also we like to share with the Mauritian friends about the tea-related culture experience. Why we chose Meizhou's tea, the most highlight of this event? In Mauritius, there are the descendants of Hakka people. Meizhou is the hometown of Hakka. So we will bring this Meizhou tea to let our Chinese Mauritians to have a really hometown taste of their original teas, and then bring them back to the hometown of Meizhou and to think about their ancestors in the past. And also we like to introduce to the Mauritian friends, Meizhou now has developed into a beautiful city in China after opening up for 40 years. The social life has changed. It has become a very international city. You can travel there very freely, either by plane or by train, by driving a car. So it's very open town, and we like to welcome all Chinese Mauritians and Mauritian friends to visit Meizhou someday. These just selected photographics. We have many photographics about different provinces, tea plantation, tea techniques, and tea making. Because of the limited space, we selected 3 parts, like the history of 1,000 years tea Silk Road, how Chinese tea travel to the rest of the world. And the second is about how the techniques of how the Chinese tea are making, why it's popular among Chinese people. And the third part is about the tea plantation in Meizhou. This is a very important sector in the economy of city of Meizhou. So these 3 parts compose the picture display and will tell a good story of tea Yaji Salon this time. It helps people to understand in a more picturesque way. And although we cannot travel to Meizhou, but through picture, we bring you there. For the Chinese painting, it's a very important part of Chinese culture. It will date back to 1,000 years ago too. During the dynasty of Song, there were many Chinese scholars who are specialists of Chinese traditional painting. Chinese traditional painting are different from the Western painting. It will use Chinese rice paper, Chinese ink, and Chinese seals, and Chinese expression of nature or figures. The different character of the Chinese painting usually has been carried on from Song Dynasty until now, and it has developed into many different forms of expression of Chinese painting. There are many Chinese art institutes who train Chinese painting students to carry on this important culture of Chinese civilization. Almost in every province of China, we will have the high-level art institute where train Chinese art students. And they have art exhibition all the year round, all over the country in different cities. And now they begin to all focus on the exchange with the rest of the world too. Now the Chinese traditional painting is also part of China Cultural Center's task. We invite the local Mauritian friends to learn Chinese painting, to really understand the techniques of the Chinese painting. 30 years ago, China Culture Center was established in Mauritius as one of the first overseas Chinese culture center. And we have some Chinese painters coming to train local students. And now I'm very glad to see after more than 30 years training, they have become the local Chinese painting artists. So that's why we invited the local Mauritian Chinese Fine Arts Association to work with us to present with the Chinese tea together with the Chinese traditional music to make this event this evening a very cultural experience and a very plentiful content of this event.
Madame Chang, la directrice du China Cultural Center, fin contacter nos groupes, le Chinese Fine Art Association. Nous travaillons en collaboration avec le China Cultural Center pour promouvoir la peinture chinoise et la calligraphie. Et là, pour la fête du thé, il a envie qui, dans ce même contexte-là, nous montrer comment la culture du thé, comment nous représente un tableau et par un poème en calligraphie. Et le dessin qu'il nous fait aujourd'hui, c'est essayer de garder dans un contexte chinois, mais avec un paysage mauricien. Ce dessin-là, nous avons envie de mettre un champ de thé avec nos travailleurs mauriciens, avec le chapeau, mais avec la montagne derrière, le pouce, c'est Peterboeuf qui représente Maurice. Mais tout ça dans un esprit chinois, parce que la peinture chinoise, il y a tout ce la loi que vous avez respecté, et vous avez un pied, montagne, cascade, et tout ça nous a trouvé dans une peinture chinoise. Et nous gardons tout ça, un principe-là, mais avec un œil mauricien, disons. Et aussi, c'est un tribute, c'est un honneur à sa fête-là aujourd'hui, parce que le thé, la peinture chinoise, la calligraphie, c'est tout un cérémonial dans la vie d'un Chinois. Un Chinois, c'est la vie régentée par tout ça, une petite cérémonie là, et tout ça forme partie d'un tout. C'est pas séparé, du thé à part, calligraphie à part, tai chi à part. Et c'est un concept, nous appelons ça feng shui, mais nous appelons ça Confucius philosophie. Il englobe tout. Bref, la culture chinoise, c'est tout ça en même temps. Nous, Mauriciens, nous pensons Mauriciens, mais les autres Chinois, mais nous réussissons, on est ça l'amitié là, nous réussissons merge ça dès là ensemble. Nous faisons quelque chose qui est content dans notre culture, mais aussi dans il reste nos cultures d'une certaine façon aussi, nos façons de voir les choses. Bref, c'est de l'amitié, c'est une connexion très amicale entre les deux Mauriciens et Chinois. Nous avons déjà un client qui nous dit réserve pour lui. Il nous a nous mettre un prix, mais jamais nous fait un tableau aussi grand que ça. Là, nous avons besoin de penser qui prix nous mettre. Mais il finit réservé. Le tableau est déjà réservé. Bref, la peinture chinoise est connue maintenant à Maurice. C'est plus quelque chose de très loin. C'est maintenant il est là avec nous. Et les Mauriciennes commencent à comprendre c'est quoi la culture. Le tableau, c'est vrai, c'est toute la culture chinoise qui est dedans. De commencer à comprendre c'est quoi un tableau chinois. Qu'ils ont besoin de trouver quand ils ont un tableau chinois. Vous trouvez dans ce calligraphie là-haut, il y a un poème qui est ajouté. Le poème là, il cause le senteur du thé mauricien. Et d'un paysage vraiment magnifique entre les montagnes et les arbres, comme ça. Et puis nous avons une stampe, une complète nous table, bref. Ce petit poème là, et bref, dit bon, nous avons un client.
C'est grâce à centre culturel chinois qui nous apprend à faire la peinture chinoise. Et aujourd'hui, c'est nous invité par le centre culturel chinois pour nous venir faire du thé, nous faire dessin. Et là, environ une semaine, que nous pouvons travailler, moi, Marjorie et Joyce, nous pouvons penser qui nous peut faire l'autre thé. Et nous pensons que nous faire un champ du thé qui mauricien et aussi un petit paysage chinois ensemble. Ça me fait beaucoup plaisir pour moi aujourd'hui au centre culturel. Nous faisons ça à table là. Très contente. Et nous faisons ça par amour et comment nous connaissons. Tout peintre chinois nous accompagne pour nous tirer des chinois à côté. Tout peintre vient à côté nous boit toujours. C'est un feeling.
The Chinese calligraphy is also a very important part of Chinese culture. There are many masters in China, all around the country. They are writing in different style, dating back to ancient times. There are different style of scholars. So their calligraphy, arts, relics have been kept through that time until now. So most of the Chinese scholars actually copy Chinese ancient calligraphy masters' artwork first, and then they develop into their own style of Chinese calligraphy. So the painting and the calligraphy always go together. When you make a Chinese fine painting, you have to leave a poem. And if you have a poem, you have to be good at Chinese calligraphy. So you need to write a good Chinese character in your calligraphy style to make a fine Chinese painting. So that's how the painting and calligraphy are very closely interrelated. And there are many fans of Chinese youngsters who learn Chinese characters writing as a calligraphy. And now we are glad to see that the artists from Chinese Mauritian fine arts have go to the Tsinghua school in Mauritius, in Port Louis, to teach local kids to learn how to write Chinese characters with brush and Chinese ink.